All right, so lately I've been deep in the weeds of the YouTube Studio analytics and trying to really understand what it is that YouTube uses to push our videos. And there's a lot of different metrics that we can look at. We can look at the impressions, we can look at the click-through rate, we can look at average view duration, all of that stuff. But there's one metric that isn't that obvious that YouTube kind of hides. Now, they don't do it intentionally, but it's kind of buried and you gotta be able to know where to look for it. And I do think that this little metric tells the entire story. And I'm talking about browse. If you can get your video in the browse as far as traffic source, there's a good chance that YouTube is pushing your video. But the thing is we can get in the browse, but if we don't give YouTube the other metrics it wants, then it stalls or it just flatlines and just kind of dies. And I've done other videos on this, but I am just, like I said, I'm deep in the weeds right now of figuring this out. And so I'm going to actually walk you through how to find that. And then what I want you to do for me is I want you to go find it and then come back and tell me what your browse percentage is. But let's talk about first, if we want to get in the browse, how do we get there in the first place? So the first thing we need to understand is we need impressions. And if we get impressions, that means that we're getting traffic. Now, impressions are not equal, meaning that just because you're getting an impression doesn't mean that YouTube is pushing your video. It could be coming from your subscription, your notifications. It could be coming from YouTube search. There's all different traffic sources that is playing into the impressions. But what we want is we want the impressions to come from browse, especially in the first 24 hours. So the first question is, well, how do we get impressions? And that's going to come down to your title. And that's going to come down to, did the title signal the algorithm that there's an audience out there that it can even serve the video up to? So that's the first thing. And then from there, we have to look at the click-through rate, because the click-through rate is going to determine if someone saw the impression or saw your video, did someone actually click on it? So that's the next piece. And then we have the average view duration. And I'll walk you through here in a second how to find that stuff if you don't know. I did it in other videos, but I'll do it again here just because I think it's useful. Now, before we get into any of that stuff though, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause this video. I want you to go over to your YouTube Studio app, or you can do it on desktop. Desktop's probably going to be easier. And from there, I want you to go to one of your more recent videos, and I want you to click on the analytics, and then I want you to click on reach. And then from there, I want you to scroll down. That is where you can see where the traffic is coming from. So you'll see, hopefully, browse will be at the very top. I want you to tell me, what is your percentage of browse? Okay, I like to see that above 60%. In the first 24 hours, I'm even shooting for 80%. And what that means is that the traffic that's coming to that video, not even views yet, just impressions, it's coming from browse. That means that YouTube is serving up that video. Now, part of the browse is also going to be the suggested. So suggested means that YouTube saw the video or what it's about, and then said, oh, there's another video over here someone else created. I'm going to go ahead and serve it up as a suggested video. Or it could be even a suggestion from your video. So let me know that. Come back here, comment with what your browse percentage is. So just a little action step there that I want you to do, and come back here and comment with what that is. Now, let's be clear here. If you don't have a lot of impressions, then we have another problem. So now what we have to do is we have to look at, how do we get more impressions? Why aren't we getting impressions? And the first thing I would look at, the very, very first thing that I would look at, is the title. So we need to have a good title that, number one, signals the algorithm. It has to have some type of keyword in there that signals the audience that that's who you're trying to serve this video up for. And then the second part of that title is it's got to have a curiosity hook into it of some kind, where you're kind of curious, what is it? So for this video, you probably wanted to know what that metric is and where is it hidden? Well, that's what I shared. But the title was a way for you to kind of perk up and go, oh, I want to know what that is. That might help me. And so you want to have a really, really strong title. We focus a lot on titles here. And I'll tell you what, that right there is the number one thing that's going to get you impressions the fastest. If you need help with that, by the way, we have a swipe file, 10 of our top outlier titles that have really, really strong hooks. If you'd like to get a copy of that, just comment hooks down below and I'll send you a copy of that. It's free. We're just giving it to you because we want to help you. But just go ahead and just comment hooks down below and I'll send it to you. So now let's just assume that we are getting impressions. Okay, cool. So now we can look and see, okay, how much browse traffic are we getting? All right, and that's going to say, hey, yeah, we like your video. We're going to show it. We're going to give you a chance. An impression is just a chance. The next piece is the click. Now we got to get a decent click-through rate. And that's the next thing that the YouTube algorithm is looking at. So we need a good click-through rate. And then there's another number that YouTube is going to be looking at, and that is your average view duration. So here's how you find all this stuff, by the way, if you're not familiar. So number one, your impressions, they're going to be under the reach tab if you're on desktop. All right. If you want to see your click-through rate, that's going to be there as well. If you want to see your average view duration, which is again, very, very important, and that is going to be under the engagement tab. And then you're going to see how long did someone actually watch that video. And that's going to give another signal to the algorithm like, hey, this thing is being watched by this much time. I like to see it over 40%, to be honest with you. These videos that I've been shooting outside have converted higher as far as retention goes. So that's why I'm doing more of these videos, because people like them. And why not? It's fun. I'm outside. It's a rainy day, but it's outside. Who doesn't want to be outside in nature? Now, one thing I have been noticing is that for the first 24 hours, it is critical that we try to get these things dialed in as much as possible. It's really, really important, because it's like YouTube has this testing period, and right now I'm seeing it as like 24 hours. And that 24-hour period, we want to get impressions. We also want to get a good click-through rate, and we want to have a good average view duration. All right. So what we want to do from there is we want to build on that, and then we want to upload another video based off of the data that we just received. And I actually shot a video, I'll put it right here, and it talks about what to upload next once you start to get some momentum. So watch that video next, and I'll see you there.